Mexicans who are homophobic, it's like a colonized mindset. It really is. It's a colonial mindset. It's not something that has existed our entire history. People want to be so representative of like, oh, I'm an Aztec warrior, or like, oh, I'm so proud of my indigeneity. But like, indigeneity goes hand in hand with queerness sometimes, because a lot of indigenous people from back in the day were gay and were queer.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Jalissa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brandon. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And how y'all doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Brandon? How you doing, Julie?
I'm good. I'm chilling.
Why the slight pause?
Cause I am a little tired. I've been a little tired today. I woke up pretty tired, so
Yeah,
but I'm
so
chilling.
The usual.
The usual, yeah, the usual.
What time did you go to sleep last night?
1, 2, 1.
Interesting.
Why'd you go to sleep so late, bro? Knowing
I don't
we
know.
had this
I feel
podcast.
I feel like my sleeping schedule has been fucked up since I came back from EDC. Cause I was like up till like 5 a.m. for like 5 days straight.
Damn.
And then I came back, and then I mean, for the other times I kept waking up because I needed to go to work and stuff. And then I think we went to San Francisco like after that.
She's just so tired from partying, bro.
Yeah,
She's just so
I've been
tired.
partying too much.
What
I've been
time?
partying too
What
much.
time do the sets start at EDC? If they end at 5
They start at 7
at night?
p.m. Yeah, they start at 7 p.m. and then they end around 5 a.m.
That's
morning.
crazy.
Is it cool? Going.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's fun.
I don't know. It's the last day, especially, is always very like, I guess, bittersweet, because it's like, damn, it's the last day. But it's always, I don't know how to describe the feeling, but the feeling is kind of nice when I see the sun rising and like we're still partying. Like, I don't know. There's just
Do you
something.
feel young? Do you feel like this is a core memory?
Yeah, it's always cool. Like I generally enjoy the fact that like it's like the sun is rising and we're all still kind of like partying. Like I don't know. I always think there's always something kind of special for the people who actually stay there the whole entire time.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a sense of community?
Kind of like like they're very committed to like staying all the way.
Is
the
it
whole
really
thing.
like Zombieland out there? Are a lot of people on drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are on drugs, which I think a lot of the scene. I think a lot of the scene is that like people do it because they generally want to have fun, and other people do it because they feel like they're very addicted to the drug. At least that's just like what I think personally. And I feel like that's why a lot of people have been like going a lot more, because they more like it for the trend and like for the doing the drugs. Because I don't think there's people who go and they just go just to do drugs. Like they don't really care about the music.
Do you guys think you can be someone who uses drugs and not have to go through life like being depressed? Do you get what I mean? I'm not posing it wrong. Do you think that you can just enjoy doing drugs and there doesn't have to be a deeper meaning inside of you where you're sad, or like it's because you're trying to escape from something that's happening in your life?
Like, you're asking, can you just do drugs and be fine?
Yeah, basically. Do you think somebody just out there does drugs for fun? Like genuine question. Because I've in my life, I feel like people who I feel like are more prone to using substances are usually people who are sadder. But I guess speaking on EDC, and I'm like, if it really is good vibes and everybody is just like there to party and have fun, I wonder how many people there generally don't have anything going on in their life that they're sad about or depressed about, and that they're just doing drugs.
I don't know, because I feel like people go to this place and like do drugs to kind of escape from everything else. Like I always feel like people use everything for like escaping kind of reality.
Even beyond drugs?
Yeah.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah. Because I feel like, I don't know. I don't think I would know anyone who does drugs just to do them. You know, like I feel like everybody somewhat does them to kind of escape other feelings that they are trying to like suppress.
What's the healthy way of actually dealing with your feelings and dealing with life? Like, because most people only ever and talk about like the vices of like drinking, drugs, like, I don't know, sleeping around. What's the actual healthy way of dealing with your problems?
I don't know. Talking about
No
them,
one knows?
confronting them.
That's the age-old question.
If I had the answer, I'd be a very rich man.
So the humans have been around in civilizations for thousands of years, and we don't have a clear answer.
I don't think so.
No, it's
I
not
mean,
like
I don't know. You
hugs.
probably just talk about your feelings and shit,
but God knows who the fuck is gonna do that.
Yeah.
Some geeky guy is gonna. Who's gonna?
That seems a lot harder in practice, right?
Why do you think it's so hard to express your feelings?
Society.
Society.
They don't accept.
They don't accept you expressing your feelings.
I don't know. Like the way I see it is like, I don't know. I see it like people are animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You ever watch like nature documentaries or like you guys have pets, right? And you go to the vet, where they say like animals will kind of just mask like what's wrong with them, so that if they're like, let's say like a wolf, right? I think if I'm not mistaken, a wolf might kind of mask an injury, right? So it doesn't seem too weak, in the same way that if your dog is kind of having pain, because they explained this about my dog when he had like an ear thing before we got it fixed, that a lot of dogs will kind of just dug out pain to not let you know that they're going through something. I don't know. I'm not. I know a lot of
dogs that dug out pain too.
I'm not a zoologist, but I'm assuming they do that because they're like pack animals, right? And they don't want you to, I don't know, throw them away or do whatever it is. I think people are kind of the same way, but instead of it being physical, the bond is like here. So people kind of just mask their emotions so that they don't get thrown out of society and shit like that.
I know I hear a lot of people say that they don't talk about their feelings because they don't want to seem kind of like a burden to people, where they're always just like complaining about something that they're probably going through, or like people don't want them to worry too much about them.
But I also think that there's like a more volatile like expression of that. Like I've seen, at least for my side of things, where I've seen older men try to talk about their feelings. They're more like, it's not that they feel like they won't be accepted. It's more of like they feel like they somehow would be angry at themselves to somehow talk about that. Like it's not that I think I'm gonna bother people. It's more of like I feel like I'm gonna bother myself, which is ironic, right?
I think it's still that they think they won't be
accepted.
Yeah, I think everything's a projection, So I don't know. I just think people are social animals. So I feel like everything we do has something to do with being social. Like, I don't know, like think about like kids, right? When you see a kid, it's like a fucking 100 degrees outside and they got the thickest sweater on. It's because, they're insecure. They don't want to show their body or whatever. Yeah. But they'd rather suffer like in the middle of fucking heat than just take off their sweater.
It's just so funny that you're saying that while you're wearing a fucking sweater and it's hot as fuck outside.
It's not thick.
Yeah, it's not that thick. I just thought that was funny.
But I didn't think it was.
Go ahead.
No. I was like, what'd you say?
He's like, I didn't think it was fucking funny.
Damn.
He's like, you see, he doesn't want to talk about. He doesn't want to talk about it. And I pointed out, and he got angry. Like I said, he got aggressive. This is a therapy episode. This is a therapy episode. Brother. Do you guys think there exists a human on this planet that doesn't have personal problems?
Probably not.
What? Is that a sad or is that a good thought?
I don't know.
It means we're not alone, right?
Wait, what are you asking? What do you mean?
Is that a sad or is that a good thought? That there doesn't exist a human on this planet that doesn't suffer from personal problems.
I think everything has a problem, no? I feel like...
You think Jeff Bezos has personal problems?
Yeah, he's probably like...
You guys both said yeah.
That fool got divorced, bro.
I wonder
why. He did get divorced.
I wonder what his problems are. Well, yeah, didn't his ex-wife take him for a ride? She like took all his money and she just gave it away. And he's probably like... Grr.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's controversial.
But that's because they were saying that she helped him like with some shit.
Amazon.
So she was like, she deserved her money or something.
Behind every great man is a woman. So she was that woman for him. And so that money.
No, but that's good though.
Hers.
She kind of hit him where it hurts, where he would rather hoard all his money than help anybody, and she kind of gave it away.
You know what I thought about? This is a conversation I was having yesterday. Do you think you reach a certain point where, like, in order to gain or garner more success and money, you have to sacrifice the time that you spend with your loved ones or time that you spend with any other of your hobbies or the things that you enjoy? So I'll give you an example. I was talking about the people who get paid higher wages, and usually those people who get paid like salary that are making almost six figures, they dedicate their life to their job. Like, let's say they're working at fucking Sprouts, or let's say they're working at Whole Foods, but specifically not in the grocery stores, but behind the scenes in the upper
Like
management,
corporate,
yeah, exactly. And they're all about their job. They're all about Whole Foods. They eat, sleep, dream about Whole Foods. But they're making that good money, and you think about like, oh man, like that person, their entire life is just dedicated around their job, and there's so much more than their job, but they're making that good money. Do you think that's a necessary trade-off that comes with anything? Because I remember specifically when I was younger, my parents, I'm not going to say how much. Well, I don't know if I should. No, I'm not going to say how much. My parents made a lot of money one year. And I remember my mom was telling us, I was like, yeah, but we would wake up at 8 in the morning and we'd go home around 9 p.m. Like, we didn't see our kids, and we were making a lot of money, and maybe we could have done that for a few years, but I just didn't want to. Yeah. So I guess I ask you guys, like, do you think there reaches a point where you have to sacrifice your love for other things in order to gain success in the workplace?
Like, are you saying, does it always have to be that way?
Yeah. Because I think about stuff like Jeff Bezos and like Mark Zuckerberg, how they don't have like loved ones. Yeah, they're all. Yeah,
I think Mark Zuckerberg has a family.
No, but I don't think it's the same. I mean, you think about wrestlers in WWE, they don't see some of them fucking have newborns, and then they're on the road for the rest of the year, and they're making that bank.
Are they though? Aren't wrestlers underpaid now?
No,
it's gotten better.
WWE, the minimum. This is so crazy. Bring it up. WWE, the minimum worker there makes $360K a year.
Oh, you talk to them? He's a part owner.
Yeah, I am a part owner. I own one stock.
He's the one who gives them money.
Yeah, he put in a word with management, you know.
I own one stock. I am an owner of WWE.
What percentage of that is, like, what percentage do you think that is? Do they tell you?
They do, actually. There's like a little thing on there that says how much percentage.
Can you check how much percentage? Is it like...
let me check.
That's fine.
But as a part owner...
He's like 0.01%.
As a part owner, I think I have to...
Are you going to get more stock?
Maybe. I have to sign in. I'm not going to do that shit.
If you had to guess.
Probably like 0.00 like 1%.
So basically like a hay penny.
I'm still an owner.
He is a part owner.
If I told somebody you're part owner of this TODO CHIDO.
He has the plaque.
He does have the plaque. I have seen it.
I have a plaque in my room.
He's
for those of you listening. I have a big ass plaque.
He invested in WWE.
And I'm a proud owner.
I don't know, bro. You tell me. When you had to do that, did you have to sacrifice...
I think that realistically, yeah, I think you can reach a certain level of success where you don't have to do that. But I think if you want to keep going and going, eventually the journey means you have to shed some cargo in order to keep going. That's not for me to say that like I encourage people to do that, but I just think realistically,
it's just in a vacuum if you're analyzing it.
That's because we live in a capitalist society. Led by these fascist leaders. In order to succeed, you must tear from your community and go alone.
I guess in certain things, you kind of have to sacrifice if you want to gain something else.
Because like, imagine having a family and fucking like running and like companies like that, and like, what time do you have to make room for a wife or a kid?
Damn, I don't know, bro. What? Now that I'm thinking about it. Well, because I always think about, like artists when they're like, they don't want to, some artists are like, they don't want to get married or have kids because they feel like once they get married or have kids, that really stops them from going full on in their careers. But to me, I'm always like, damn, but is that really like how it is? But I think I don't know. I feel like because I'm not to the point where I don't know how marriage or being like a parent is, that I don't know how hard it is. But to me, not being that seems like you could do multiple things. Like it's possible for you to do everything that you want. But I feel like maybe once you're in it, it is a lot harder. Because I mean, you're raising a kid, or like you have, I don't know. Sometimes when people are like, I can't be married and do all these things, I feel like, but what makes it hard to be married and still do what you're doing? You know, like I think that's the part. The part that I do get kind of is when you are a parent. Like I feel like that is a whole different thing because you do have to sacrifice your time for your kid because you're raising a whole human being.
It's because you're too busy doing stocks and watching
investing and
what's it called, entrepreneur podcasts.
Yeah, I guess you just I don't know. I guess it's like a time management thing, right? Like, if you got to be the CEO of a company, you probably have to always be available. I don't know. Man, people listening might be like, CEOs don't actually do shit. I don't know. I'm not. I didn't go to business school. But I'm assuming, right, if you're raising a kid the right way, you kind of always have to be available, you know? And then if you always have to be available with stuff where, like, I guess if, like, you're an actor, right, you got to travel to, like, Saudi Arabia to shoot Dune 3 or whatever. Yeah. Or, like, if you're, I don't know, I guess there's just not enough time in the world.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it also hits different, specifically if you're a woman. Like, not to glaze or anything, or to be, like, a pick-me or something. But, like, I think it hits different because you see women either have to choose to be a mother or choose their career because they're going to be out of the office or out of their career space for 9 months. Well, if you're a dude and you're having a kid, your wife's the one who carries it, so you can still continue doing what you're doing. I mean, it's a common thing. I don't think it's a secret. And I think it hits different because that fear, especially if you're somebody who's, like, already in a high-paying job, already, like, raising up the ranks, to take a pause in your career for basically most of the year is intimidating, and you're gonna lose out on opportunities. Like, that's just what it is. And I get why, like, one would choose not to want to have kids because it's like, it's gonna stunt my career. There's no way around it. I don't think there's like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's gonna stunt your career. That's just what it is. But it's part of that. Literally exactly what I'm saying. You gotta choose. Do you choose your career or do you choose the love and affection route? And there's not really a right or wrong answer. I wouldn't blame anyone for choosing whichever one that is. It's more about, like, which one you want to pursue. Because if you choose the having a kids, I really think it's gonna stunt your career. It's just the way it is. I wish it wasn't that way, but we live in a capitalist society run by fascists.
Well, I was gonna say it does really suck because it's like, even like, if what is it, maternity leave or whatever, like how some women don't even get that much then compared to men who get paternity I don't know how to say it. Paternity leave.
Unless your man steps up.
I don't know. Man.
Unless your man steps up. Your man steps up and is like, I'll
take care of the child.
Yeah, I'll be the true. No, but I mean, she starts to carry it. I mean, some women can work while still being, like, pretty.
I just feel like I think it really is hard to, I guess, when you become a parent, because I think especially for women, it's just like there's a lot of changes that happen within, like, your body, and, like, even mentally, like, a lot of people get affected by, like, pregnancy and all that. And birth. So I understand that that's a lot harder to, like, do, which is why, like, choosing that, which does suck. I'm, like, thinking about it now. I'm like, it does suck, where it's kind of like you have to choose one or the other. You can't really have both like that. Well, you could possibly have both, but I feel like that's a lot. That's a lot to do.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think there's people out there who do both, and I appreciate people who do both. I'm just saying that I think overall, the more realistic route that life gives you is that it's one or the other. I think to do both is possible, but I think it's the same rarity as, like, somebody who goes to school and is also a parent and it also works. Like, it's something that I don't think is as achievable as people make it seem. And it's not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying that I think that as you pursue and you get older and you do your careers, there's times where I think you meet a crossroads and you have to make decisions based off, like, the cards that are set in front of you. And I don't know. I find it interesting. I find it really interesting because I think as I get older and I look at people who are quote unquote successful, I see that they've made a lot of sacrifices and they have a lot of regrets. But I guess to stand out, you got to make the hard decisions, and, like, it's about what makes you happy in your life. If your life is like, I'll never be happy unless I have a kid and a wife, then there you go. You know what route is good for you. But if you're like, I'll always have a what if of, like, what if I hadn't settled down and I just, like, shot myself out of a canyon and just pursued full force what I'm trying to do. I think it's based off, like, what you can live with when you're eventually an old, crusty, dusty person. And you're like, did I do everything I wanted to do? Am I happy with the decisions that I made? If I am, then that's cool. If I'm not, then damn. Maybe I can give somebody else some advice as I get older.
Do you guys feel like you currently live with regrets?
Brandon, you go first.
Nah, you go first.
Why me?
You go first. I don't know. I have to think.
Okay. Regrets. I guess my initial reaction is no. I don't think I regret anything. I think that everything not necessarily happens for a reason, but I think that everything serves as a lesson, especially the ones where maybe regret seems the most obvious.
Yeah.
I think it's more in the sense of that was a lesson that I had to learn, and I learned it the hard way, and that's okay. And if it didn't happen, I would have learned it some other way, so I can't really regret it because it would have happened anyways.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Do you feel like when you were younger though, that
you feel more regret?
You felt more
Hell
regret
yeah,
than now?
hell yeah, for sure. When I was way more harsher on myself. I felt like any mistake that I made, I shouldn't have made that mistake. I should have just known better. I should have just been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get older, you realize that the mistakes are what help you become a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And so to try to get rid of mistakes just means you stay a very lesser version of yourself.
Yeah.
But you can go through life and things that you regret. I think they shape you and they make you who you are. And if you truly are a real lover of yourself, then you won't have as many regrets. But I don't speak for everyone because I don't know. Someone could have like accidentally killed their brother or some shit, and then I'm like, okay,
You probably should regret.
I don't know how that shaped you. I don't know how you would like turn that into a motivational lesson. Yeah. When I killed my brother, I didn't know that it was a blessing.
I learned not to kill my brother from killing my brother.
Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, I think who doesn't? I just think you just can't. What's the word? I don't know. You can't just keep reliving shit and then because it's not gonna change.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a extravagant answer, but I think everybody has regrets.
How do you guys feel about people who hold grudges?
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
What?
Holding grudges just poisons people. I feel like people.
So you think it's bad to hold a grudge?
I think it's super bad to hold a grudge. I think it's just like
even if someone did you really, really dirty?
Because I don't know. I think holding a grudge is like the only person who you're actually hurting is yourself.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just a competition with yourself. It's not like the other person can feel the grudge or can feel that you're mad at them or feel all these like terrible thoughts. I just think that it's a poison to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I remember Kendrick. I truly don't have a hating bone in my body.
He's the biggest hater though.
But wait, doesn't he say in Mr. Morale that he was really surprised that Drake and Kanye made up and that he's not mature enough to understand that he.
But in his recent song, fucking was it Euphoria or Meet the Grams? I think it's Meet the Grams.
I think he's talking more specifically about Drake though.
Yeah,
I think he's saying he doesn't really give that much of a shit about Drake.
He says specifically like, I truly didn't mean to rain on your party. And the truth is, I don't have a hating bone in my body. That's what he says. Yeah. I was like, I tell you, therapy's a wonderful start, but I think ayahuasca would fix the problem from the heart. He says something like that. So he says Drake should take fucking shrooms. And as somebody who's taken shrooms and is now a perfect human,
I'm dead.
I think I know all the answers, and I feel like grudges are a big no-no. I feel like that's ego talking.
Yeah.
Am I right, Brandon? My brother?
What do you think, Brandon? About holding grudges?
What was your original?
You think it's bad that people hold grudges?
I personally, I can't hold a grudge. Like I can't stay mad that long. I don't know.
What? How?
I don't know. I mean,
it feels draining.
Well, I don't know. Like, what do you? I hate to do that stupid like teacher philosopher shit, but like, what is a grudge to you? Because I'm like, I mean, there's shit where I'm like, well, that wasn't cool. That was kind of mean to that person or whatever. And then it's not like, I'm not like, oh, like, you know, that guy's cool. Like if we saw each other or this and that, like it'd be amazing or whatever. But I'm also like, my idea of a grudge is like, nah, the next time I see him, it's on side or whatever it is. Like I'm silently praying on his downfall. Like I don't pray on anybody's downfall if that's what your idea of a grudge is. It's more like, that was fucked up. Like I'm not cool with that, but I'm not preying on anybody's downfall, if that's what you mean. I feel like, I don't know, people do fucked up shit to other people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm like, well, it feels weird to sometimes be like, just get over that shit, bro.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm like, what do you mean by having a grudge? Because I don't know, man.
I always saw grudges as like you do hold something that like somebody who really, really hurt you. And I feel like for me, grudges have just been like that, where it's just like people have always been fucked up to you, and you kind of just hold that against them. Like it's kind of like forgiving and forgetting. Yeah. It's like you can forgive, but it's like you can't forget, because it's like it's really something that kind of affected you emotionally, where I just feel like I think telling people to really like get over it is really bad, because it's like you don't know what they personally felt in that moment when that person did that fucked up shit to them, you know?
But that's what I mean. I'm like, I guess it depends on like the severity of what's going on. Yeah. Like if it's like, I don't know. Have you told this story on the podcast where a certain friend stole like your Christmas gift?
Yeah, I didn't have a grudge on
no, but that's what I mean. Like, as an example, I get that being like, well, I feel like you should let that go, bro. You know, but like, if I don't know, if
I was like, I hated him ever since.
I don't know, but if this, let's say this person was like, they tied your dog to a train track and they sent you like the video because there's, you know, shit like that. Them. You know, I can see that kind of sticking around.
I just don't get what I win. Like, I guess for me, not holding grudges is like, what do I win? Like, what am I getting from holding a grudge? All I feel is drained, and all I feel is nasty, because I feel like I'm taking myself to their level. Why would I stoop to their level if they did something bad to me? Like, why not just move on and just like the closure is within me and just keep going forward? Just because one person did something doesn't mean the next person will.
I think that's just easy in practice for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, not in practice, in like
theory.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Theory can only take you so far.
Yeah.
Theory
I don't know. I feel like that's why I'm like, it depends. I don't know. Me personally, I can't. My definition of a grudge is like preying on somebody's downfall. And I don't have that. Like, I don't have the energy it takes for that.
That hating, boating. Yeah. Because it feels like it's a lot of energy.
And but I also think that's different than like I feel like preying on somebody's downfall is like actually like I want to see something bad happen to them. It's not like
it's like beef more than grudge.
Yeah, where that's what I think a grudge is for me personally. But like other shit where it's like, nah, like I gotta prove to myself I'm not that or whatever. I think that's different.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just me.
Like Drake and Kendrick. Yeah, like how they hold grudges against each other.
I don't know. I guess shit gets serious though. You know. Yeah. I feel like I'm lucky enough to where I don't have.
I get you. Grudges.
People have done stuff that's that serious, you know? Yeah. And I think that's why I think, you know, maybe I'm a bit biased. But, you know, sometimes people be telling me shit where I'm like, damn, bro, that's... Oof. I can see you crashing out over that, you know?
Yeah. Because, I mean, there's been examples, I think, in my life where people have told me I should have had a grudge on this person. And the only thing that I remember thinking is, like, I feel like it's not that serious. Like, I just feel like life has so much more... value that you can put your energy into, and like why put my energy into something like I don't know, something that I feel like is just below me. Like grudges just feel like very low energy, low vibes, and yet they drain so much. It's like reminds me of working out, and like I feel like grudge is like an exercise that takes a lot of energy but doesn't have a lot of gains.
I guess like I'm just like I don't know. I feel like I always feel like do what you gotta do to like process your emotions or validate yourself. Just don't hurt nobody, you know? That includes yourself, you know, however that looks like. That's all I really... Because I don't know, man. Like I was saying, some people be saying shit and I'm like, damn, I'm surprised you did not crash out over that. You know, I would understand if you did.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I get you, yeah. What do you think, Julie? Wait, catch this. Catch this.
I'm passing off. I'm passing off the talking.
Yeah, the talking airplane. We're in school. We're in school.
We throw this to her.
Detention.
I'm not gonna.
Bro, that's a fan, I guess.
A fan.
I guess.
That's crazy.
That looked like a good plan, though. No?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I'll make another one. Continue,
it looked okay.
Continue.
It's not as pointy though.
Yeah. What do you think, Julie? What do you think of grudges?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people do have a lot of negativity about people who hold grudges. Because I personally just feel like some people deeply, I guess, get hurt with like certain things. I don't think it's I don't see it as preying on people's downfall. I just mostly see it as like people who are just very fucked up to someone.
Yeah.
And I think it generally just hurts their feelings, and I think it really affects them. So like I've held grudges for sure.
Yeah.
I think my issue has always just been I never know how to let things go. But I think it's because like every single time I think I see the people who do hurt me, and I see that they're constantly still the same person, where I think that is always a constant reminder for myself of like the shit that they did.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's always hard to, I guess, fully let go. But I also feel like it reminds me again, like how I said, like the whole forgive and forget.
Yeah.
I always think like some people don't deserve your time and your forgiveness because of how fucked up they are. So that's like the other thing. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I just feel like people just personally just go through a lot of things, and I don't think like what's the word? Like I just don't think that you know what people go through, and I think it's just really like fucked up to say like, oh, just get over it when you don't know how much it really destroyed them internally, or whatever they went through in like those moments. I mean, there's certain things, right? I think it's just the same thing where it's just like there's certain like some things are very severe and some things are not, and I feel like some things for sure are easier to let go than others. But I just feel like if people have those, I don't think it's all bad if you do. I just think, again, like, I think for sure I do agree that, like, you shouldn't let it affect you to the point where, like, you're also hurting yourself. Yeah. You know? Like, I feel like you can still hold them, and, like, if you choose to, you know, have your space and not have them around, then that's okay. Because it's like, if that's what makes you feel better and, like, not feeling, again, like mentally drained or like just issues, then like that's fine. Like whatever it is that you have to do, as long as it doesn't fully hurt you, you know? Yeah. And I feel like there's people who know how to I guess handle their grudges. Like, you know, there's people who generally like just mentally go through it when like they hold these grudges, and there's people who know how to hold them, and they're just like, I can still see them and say hi to them and still like be around them. Like I'm okay still dealing in those spaces, but I feel like there's other people who probably can't, and I think it's really hard. But I don't know, that's what I kind of think.
I don't know, it's just so hard because I think of, I guess, speaking on wrestling, I'm thinking about Bret. There's this, I'll explain because obviously the audience isn't a wrestling nerd like I am.
That was worse.
But go ahead. Oh, that was amazing for those of you listening on the audio. Wow, Brendan threw a paper plane that like basically
did like 60 loops.
Yeah, you couldn't see it on camera, but it was crazy. But I think of Bret Hart, and I think of he famously, when he was like in his late 20s, he got a career-ending injury. He was a wrestler by this other wrestler named Goldberg. Goldberg kicked him in the head, and it broke up his fucking like I guess his neck or something. It gave him like career-ending injury. And his career was done from that point out. And now Bret Hart is in his 60s, reaching 70s. And he still only ever talks about that incident. And that incident happened when he was a young man. And recently a wrestler went on a podcast, and he talked about how he smoked weed with Bret Hart. And he was so excited. He was like, I grew up watching Bret Hart. Like, I loved him. He was like one of my favorite wrestlers as a kid. And he's like, and we got high, and all he would talk about was Goldberg and the injury. Like, I was really shocked. Like, that's all he would talk about. And he said, I guess it's just something in his brain where, like, whenever he's in a medicated state, he just seems to talk about it. And I feel like that's so sad. Like, a grudge like that, like, to just put that much energy into let that grudge just fester in you. I feel like it's hard for me to really think that there's, like, a positive side or, like, a side where I can feel like holding grudges is an acceptable thing.
It's not so much that I think it's a positive, but I think everybody's emotions are valid. Like, I feel like however you react to something emotionally, your emotions are valid. I think that's to me is concrete. I feel like just because your emotions are valid doesn't mean that your reactions to them, like how you act on them, is valid, but your emotions are valid. And to me, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like people are really complex, and sometimes it just takes people forever to process shit, and that's fine. Like, I think a lot of things that people go through can sometimes be like a lifetime journey in terms of processing things. Yeah. Like for Bret Hart, like I make fun of him a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and act like no, it's I make fun of him. But to me, I guess the way I see it is like that guy loved wrestling. That was his like thing. That was like his the love of his life.
Yeah.
And from his perspective, it not only got taken away from him, but then it took everything else from him.
Yeah.
It took away his father figure. It took away his literal brother. It took away all these things. So I'm kind of like, I kind of get how he's still going
like
through
bitter
it.
about it.
Yeah, but to me, I'm just like, that's why I'm like, I feel like everybody's emotions are valid. I feel like it's just like,
yeah.
No,
that's why I say like there's severities to it, because I feel like with Bret Hart, I've always said it. I'm like, he's never gotten over all the fucked up shit that's happened to him in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like for sure for him, it was like a very much like that was his life. Like that was his career, his whole family. That's his heritage. Like that's his legacy, Killed
his brother.
And it killed his brother. And I feel like there's severities of like things that you just can't get over. Like the fact that his like the whole controversy, even within like how his brother died, it's just like the fact in that of like imagine if like your sibling passed away and like then all this fucked up shit, you just go down through a spiral of like sadness. And I think that really affected him, which affected even more his career. And I feel like with those things, like there's just certain things that you can't get over, because it's like you mentally just like get fucked up. Like the fact that he like lived and saw and hears all this shit about his brother and like what happened with him, and I feel like you can't get over that shit. Like it's really hard.
I guess so. Like thinking about it now, it's really interesting, because it's like, well, if you think about it, his career ending is the apex of everything going wrong, right? Like his career ended, and I guess if you try to look at it through like maybe his point of view, if I was him, I would kind of be praying and hoping like, man, shit's gonna turn around. Like shit's gonna get better. Like I'm gonna have a comeback. Like it's gonna come back around for me. Like, I'm gonna, it's like a movie, like like if I'm the main character, like the main character always goes through shit and like, but the better is on the other corner. But he just, he just kind of, it ended for him. So I think he's more focusing on that, like, damn, like sometimes you love shit and you just, it ends unceremoniously.
Yeah, his life was like a movie, specifically like The Iron Claw, where it was just a fucking tragedy.
Yeah, bro.
So that's why I'm like, I mean, I guess, like, at least he's
all right, I'll give it.
At least he's not crashing out,
Yeah.
I feel like as long
at
as
least he's not doing like evil shit.
As long as you don't crash out, I think you do what you gotta do,
Yeah, it's true. I guess the lesson is it could be worse, I guess.
Yeah, just don't crash out.
Yeah, it could be worse.
But that's what I was saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe
you get it now.
I get it. Okay,
but I was gonna ask you guys too something else. Moving away from
from Bret Hart.
So did you guys feel the earthquakes?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So there's 4 that happened, right? Or how many have happened?
I felt I think the first one. I don't know.
Yeah, the first one. I felt the first one was really strong. It was near us in Pasadena.
Yeah.
I have a short prompt for y'all.
Oh.
So if there was an earthquake that was happening, and you were taking a shit, you were in the restroom, and there's a big earthquake happening, would you wipe? Would you? It's big. Like. It's,
the one that happened on the one that we're talking about.
It's a little bigger than the one that happened.
I thought you were saying the shit was big. I guess it's still.
How big is the shit I'm taking?
No, you're shitting.
Am I shitting?
No, you're.
It's a big ass shit.
No, you're shitting. You're taking the biggest shit in your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And an earthquake happens.
How big of an earthquake?
A little bigger than the one that whatever you guys.
Oh, just a little bit.
Like 2 more, 2 points more.
So like 5.
2.5. Oh, damn,
like
that's
five,
that's kind of strong.
No, yeah, that's pretty strong.
Like a 5.
Is kind of strong.
Would you wipe first and then run, or would you just run?
Well, I wouldn't run. Even if I wasn't shitting, I wouldn't think I would have run.
Well.
Oh, you said for cover.
Y'all ready for this plane?
Yeah.
Wait, go
ahead. Throw it to me.
Oh!
Where'd it go?
It's under the
white box.
It's right there.
Here. Wow, Julie, congrats.
I'm a pro. I'm a pro at making planes.
I don't think I can reach it.
I'm a pro at making people.
But you're better at making planes than Boeing.
Oof.
Damn.
That's a good one, though. That's a good one. Give me my claps, please.
Enjoy these
my
next
snaps.
few days, bro.
Thank you.
Enjoy these next few days.
Okay, but back to the prompt. That's a funny ass question. Let's see. Okay, so I'm taking a shit, the biggest shit of my life. Damn. How far into the shit am I? Like, am I done? Am I just on my phone, or am I like mid?
Yeah,
like that shit is coming out.
No, yeah, you already shit.
Finished.
You finished.
Oh, I finished. Okay.
And you're about to.
Oh,
like,
you're about to wipe. Okay.
You're about to wipe, and you just feel this big ass earthquake. Would you wipe first and then run, or would you would you just run?
Well, you're not supposed to
you
run. You mean just get under
Would
the
you
door
like
frame?
duck and cover? Yeah. It's really big and it's lasting a good while.
They're both really big, right? The earthquake and the shit.
Yeah.
I feel like
Low key, I don't think I'm getting up from that toilet. I don't think I'm getting up.
You're
from
just gonna
that
sit there?
You just kind of
Yeah, I'm just kind of like.
The water is splashing on you.
Yeah, that's so true. That might make me like stand up, and then if I'm standing up, I might just be like, "Fuck it." Let me just get up. Bro, but if you, I feel like
okay. Well, let's paint out the scenarios of what happens, right? If you stay there, you might die, and they discover you
on the toilet.
on the toilet,
muddy butt,
unwiped
Mud
ass, unflushed, everything. If you live and you hide, you still have the opportunity to go back and wipe and finish. You know. So I think.
So you would put your pants back up?
I just throw away my underwear after.
Honestly, yeah, if it's a life or death situation,
I mean, I
probably
would probably choose to live. I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'd rather.
I'll just say this: whatever outcome leads to me living, I choose that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd have to get that mud butt and just like go under the door frame.
You just won't tell anyone ever.
Yeah, probably.
I'd probably tell people if I lived because it's funny, you know.
Yeah. I'd be like, fuck it. I mean, like, if I'm home alone too, like, I'm just standing there, like, I just won't pull my pants up. Like, I'll just be there, like, butt naked, dick out, like everything.
Just holding it.
Yeah, damn.
That powerful image. Ew.
I think
that was a clap from the audience.
Can the audience hear that? Should I keep that? Should I keep that in the final
fuck
cut?
it, why not?
If you guys heard that was an accident. We have sound effects.
They heard that for sure.
Yeah, well,
they heard that. That was the end of the segment.
For that
Next
one,
segment.
Yeah. So next question, I guess.
Is that all you had?
Yeah, that was, I just wanted to know.
Okay.
You just wanted to know what we would move. Bro, I thought you were going to say.
It was on theme.
What I thought you were going to bring up was the thing that I told you about. I was like, have you ever heard about, there's these theories about people who don't feel earthquakes in California?
No.
I was gonna bring that up, but you guys said it was. There was like no fact.
You guys. There was no you guys.
Stevie.
Yeah. There's no you guys. Yeah. That supposedly, according to I think LA Times, that you might be. I forgot what they exactly call you, but they call you like earthquake deficiency. You might have an earthquake deficiency. So what it is basically if you grew up in California, your body might have adjusted to earthquakes. So when they happen, your body naturally ignores them because they're so used to it.
I don't believe it.
Supposedly that's one of the theories.
I think it's not necessarily because it's earthquakes. I think it's because we're in a big city, so there's a lot of movement naturally.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I feel an earthquake, I'm like, was that like a big truck going by, or was that an earthquake? True. So I feel like for them to be like, it's because this is a little dumb. I don't know.
I also feel like they don't.
Okay.
They don't happen too.
Whoever said that is
they
fucking
don't
stupid.
happen too frequent for you to get used to them.
Yeah.
But
there's always small ones happening everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah. There's always small ones. There's probably one happening right now.
The tectonic plates.
Yeah.
During that one time there was an earthquake and the pool you guys had like fucking.
What? The pool?
Remember you guys had a pool in the backyard?
What?
Like a baby pool?
I was there with you guys while we were sitting in your backyard and you guys had a pool. And it started sloshing because there was an earthquake.
I remember specifically, this is a funny story. I still remember one time back when Brandon was in his stoner age. I remember the three of us were smoking in the backyard. This pandemic, this had to be 2020. And I remember I was showing you guys like a meme. We were really high. And I was showing you guys a meme on my phone. And do you remember I had it like this, holding it up to you guys. and then an earthquake started.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Oh, is that the same time?
Yeah.
And I remember I started looking around, and I was like, and I looked at you guys, and I remember looking, because we were high. I remember you guys had the faded look, like you guys had your eyes, like the eyes drooping, and just looking at my phone. And then you guys are just side-eyeing me because you saw that I was looking at you guys. And he was like, and then you guys are like, oh, is there an earthquake happening? And I was like, bro, like 15 minutes later.
Nah. That's not what happened.
I never felt it.
There was you guys had a pool. You guys had a pool set up.
A kiddie pool.
It was like this tall, and then you could hear the whole water going.
I don't remember them.
But you heard it late, because I remember I looked at you guys and you guys were like just high
I
looking at
remember-
my meme.
I remember I was on the bench and my feet.
You guys were on the bench.
I wasn't on. My feet were on the floor, so I didn't feel it.
The water was moving. I was like, the water's moving.
I don't remember that.
Earthquake deniers, bro. My sister's an earthquake. My sister has earthquake deficiency, bro. She never feels the earthquake.
Supposedly.
She works in downtown. She's probably just used to all the
That's
trauma.
why.
I don't know. I did tell Stevie that I was like, every time I do feel earthquakes, I feel dizzy.
That's why that's her body protecting her, so her body just ignores it, or else she's gonna throw up.
No.
Bro, but the one that happened, the big one that happened, I think on Sunday, I want to say, the one that I think you're talking about that you felt was kind of strong. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
And it went on for a little bit. It went on for a good
I
minute.
was laying on the couch and it felt like, I swear I felt like the ground was doing like a wave. Like it was going like that.
Damn.
It was.
So
It
I
I
was
didn't
like-
feel it.
It went on for like at least 6 seconds. It
Er-
went on for a while.
I was at work and some people were like, "Did y'all feel that?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Feel what?"
I remember one time in like 2019, I was in my car and there was an earthquake. Like you could see the poles, like the street lights going like that. And then
Damn.
my car was like going like that, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
I guess like for our listeners who aren't from California, don't experience earthquakes. I think like what scares me about when an earthquake happens is that I feel it. It's kind of like a hill where I feel it kind of build up. You know what I mean? Like and then it slows down. And I think the scariest part is the come up. Is the come up because I don't know when is the peak. Like I don't know when it's mass shaking. So I'm like, I hope it doesn't keep going. On Sunday, that's how I felt because it was kind of long. I felt like, and then it got a little bit more violent as between 2 to 3 seconds, and I was like, oh my god, it's about to go even harder.
Quake bot, interesting.
Yeah.
People lose their minds when the earthquakes happen here, though.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little.
Would
I
you
just think
rather-
the Sunday one was
Because
kind of scary.
everybody's expecting the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because everybody's been saying that for like
Because
years
we're
now.
overdue.
We're overdue.
We're overdue for another.
And that's always the talk. Every single
Yeah.
time an earthquake happens and people feel it, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, the big one."
Yeah, but it's just what scared me, I guess, recently was that this past week. Yeah, there's been like 3 or 4 here.
Isn't it that we want the small ones because it relieves pressure on the tectonic plates or
some
whatever?
bullshit. No, I like the Hollywood. It's because it's warning us of what's to come.
God,
I like the Hollywood version.
Like you think what's been happening is bad? Wait till you see what's coming.
Brandon, grab the plane.
What plane?
The one under the.
The one under the thing.
It's
the-
under. It's right under it.
Yeah.
But
But moving on to my segment, guys. We're like an hour in.
hour and 30 in.
And, yeah, and fucking
Damn.
this. I'm barely about to get into the actual show. Damn, that was a really good throw, Julie. That's a really good one. Let me see. Let me try to throw it again. I'm gonna try to catch it.
Can't reach.
Thank you.
That was a really good throw, bro. My sis is about to fall over. Did you? You couldn't. They probably didn't see it on camera, but she literally had it in her fingertips, bro. She's about to eat shit. All right, Julie, go
I
ahead.
hurt myself.
Why didn't you just move your chair back?
Because she's not smart.
I'm almost against the wall. Oh, damn, the little peak.
That's okay. To start my segment, I'm not gonna move, and I'm gonna catch it like this to start my segment.
She's gonna hit me.
It's like way off. Wait, I got it.
It's because the little pointy thing is like destroyed.
So what's your segment?
Okay. This is my segment. To start it, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it. My segment is called Homophobia in Mexican Culture. Wow, Julie, come on, we give her like these fucking bombs and we send fucking units at her.
All right, you talk and Julie can get up because the camera won't see.
Okay.
But you have to talk because then I can't cut to.
Okay. So I want to talk about homophobia. It's Pride Month, guys.
Yeah.
It's Pride Month. So I was like, we got to talk about it. It's timely. We got to talk about the gays, the bis, the all types of folk. I don't know if I can say some of the things that they say. I don't know if it's offensive. The Q word?
Can you just say the LGBTQ community?
The LGBT. Sure? Yeah, but it's because it didn't fit in the way I was speaking. Yeah. But it's all love. I just wanted to make sure because I know that used to be an insult, but now it's an official way.
Reclaiming.
Yeah. Oh, they're reclaiming. They're just like me. Okay. So I just want to talk about like homophobia in Mexico. Do you think that there's a big issue of homophobia in Mexican culture?
I think so, but I think it's because they're very religious.
Very religious and very what's the word?
Machista?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's where it kind of comes from.
Not very good for, you know.
Because
side note, did you guys see what the Pope said about how he used a slur?
He said the F word, right?
Yeah, but
really?
It was wild. But that's why I'm like religion. Yeah,
it's crazy that the Pope would say that.
I
thought the Pope was supposed to be cool.
I think I saw someone explain it. That he said it in like Italian or whatever he speaks.
Oh,
and I didn't know
like an Italian translation.
It's like an outdated like, you know what I mean? You know how like when you see movies that are set in like the 50s and they refer to certain people in certain ways, and that's just because they talk like that. Not that it makes it okay.
Hey, you must be one of those wetbacks like that.
Yeah, I guess so.
When they talk about Mexicans,
and I think he just didn't know. I don't know.
He didn't know.
I mean, not that that makes it okay. I'm just giving you guys the context.
He was just ignorant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to talk about it just because I want to give a quick shout out to the LGBTQ Latino community out there. I hope you guys know we are allies. We are always rooting for y'all. We have a lot of friends who are part of the LGBTQ community. I'll hold myself to saying a joke.
You're fucked up.
What's the joke?
What is he trying to say?
Like, we have a lot of people like Brandon.
Damn,
I know, that's crazy. Why is that funny, bro?
Damn, it's not funny.
Why is that funny?
Are you Brandon?
It's not
Why
funny.
is that funny?
It's not funny.
Yo,
it's
well, you were laughing pretty hard.
It's just a fun joke.
What's the joke? Explain it.
It's that you're gay.
And why would that be funny?
Because you're not gay.
If I was, why would that be funny?
Because you're not gay.
But like, what? Explain.
There's nothing wrong with being gay. I didn't say it was bad to be gay.
Okay.
I didn't say it was bad to be gay.
Yeah.
I just come on. That's everybody says that.
I don't know. He's talking crazy.
No Diddy.
I was gonna ask a question.
You should say that either, bro.
What are you gonna ask?
No, I was just gonna be like, do you think everybody's a little gay?
I think it's like a spectrum, though.
Like a spectrum?
Yeah, I think it's like everything. Nobody's 100% good. Nobody's 100% bad.
So you think everybody's a little gay?
I think it's just a spectrum.
No, I'm talking to Julie.
Oh no, I was just curious as to like what you.
No,
guys
but what do you think?
I low key would say yes, but then now the way Brandon said it, I'm kind of like, I guess not.
What do you mean?
Because if it's spectrum, means some people are no.
Like some people are and some people aren't.
Yeah, I think it's a spectrum.
True, yeah. So you think you could be like 2% gay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can be whatever.
I generally feel like with like all that with like I guess queerness, we'll call it queerness. Like I feel like there's just like there's parts where like you could be like 2% gay or like something like that. Because I feel like I low-key get it from when people say like being bisexual. Because I know like a lot of like bisexual people get a lot of criticism. Because like it's bi, right? And bi means like you either like a man or a woman. And I think for a lot of people, the way that they explain like being bisexual, which isn't just those two genders, it could be like multiple things. It just means bisexual. Is that some people are like, yeah, like you can like 80% of you can be like you like men or like you like women, and then the other percentage is like you like the other part of that. And I think that's the thing with like I think queerness is that like it's up to your own. It's like you select what you like and what you don't like, and I think that's what I really enjoy about that is that like it's to what you deem for yourself, you know, like it's what your say is and what you like. And I think
it's like your own unique experience. Yeah. And so that way it feels more inclusive because you don't have to follow the rules of what like something like a binary system, like boy, girl, gay, straight. I get what you mean.
Because I was reading on like different things. Because there's a lot of terms that like I generally am like trying to learn about. Like there's like people who are gender fluid and gender queer, and then a lot of it speaks on like some people really identify with a certain, you know, like gender and stuff, and like there's other people who don't, or like there's some days where like they feel like they feel very in touch with like being like a guy, and then there's other days when they feel more in touch with women, and like it's just, and a lot of it, mostly just reading on it, is very much like you get to select what you want to be. And I think with that, I feel like people should have the right to select what they want to do with their life and how they want to identify, you know? And I think, I don't know, the more I kept reading it, the more I was like, there's something just really beautiful about it, of like how expressive you can be of like your queerness. And I feel like people have a right to just identify how they want, you know? Because like, again, like the different genders and all that stuff is just very much like we kind of created that.
Yeah,
and I feel like I think people have a right to kind of say what they feel and how they identify in their gender or sexual orientation or whatever that is.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue into like deeper into like what I wanted to get about it, is that like most people aren't aware that the binary system and the whole gay straight norms is something new. It wasn't here pre like the New World coming, pre Columbus. It wasn't like that. Like most people don't even know your ancestors were gay. Like your ancestors were literally gay. There's a lot of examples of people in history who were actually gay, who came from you know, Mesoamerica, or they came from Mexica times. They came from before colonialism. There was a lot of more like gender acceptance based on like what you were. Those concepts are so new, like, and people stick by them and they hold them like to be truths, but they're not truths. They don't even exist in the wild. Most people want to be like, oh, it's biology. Like clearly, like we want to pass down our genes and survive. But there's even animals that are gay.
There's like, I saw a post recently that they were like, there's queerness in like different environments and different animals. So like it exists in the environment. Yeah,
I think Mexicans who are homophobic, it's like a colonized mindset. It really is. It's a colonial mindset. It's not something that has existed our entire history. People want to be so representative of like, oh, I'm an Aztec warrior, or like, oh, I'm so proud of my indigeneity. But like indigeneity goes hand in hand with queerness sometimes, because a lot of indigenous people from back in the day were gay and were queer. And so like, I think like it's disrespectful how I feel like sometimes people want to just like they want to promote themselves as like reconnecting, but part of reconnecting is decolonizing your mind when it comes to concepts like that, when it comes to concepts that revolve around LGBTQ and all that other stuff. I think it goes deep. I think it goes really deep, but it's also about like what you're comfortable with, because like what people are always afraid of is like, oh, they're pushing this on me, like they're pushing me to be gay or queer or be accepting. And I mean, you should be accepting and you should be tolerant, but people are so afraid that somehow being more inclusive means that you have to now like go against what you feel. Like if you feel like you're straight and now people are becoming more inclusive, you somehow are like, no, you need to also like test your boundaries. And while that's an encouraging thought, it doesn't mean that that's not a mutually exclusive experience. You don't have to suddenly like now experiment with the way you dress and be flamboyant. All you have to do is just be educated. I think, and in my biggest opinion, I think that's what like is the easiest goal, is that people have to understand that these concepts and these things that they're so afraid of have existed in human history longer than some of the people who have been like saying religious like sayings have been around. Like you were just talking about the Pope. Like the Pope is super old, and these concepts exist long before he ever even like took his first baby breath. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's super important to talk about it. But I
feel like I always feel, especially for a lot of like POC like queer kids, because I feel like some of them are going through just like a lot of identity crisis in like multiple things, where it's like I feel like some of them probably go through the identity crisis of like being Mexican American, and I think they plus also going through their own like, you know, like gender and like identifying themselves. And I feel like I really feel for them because of the culture that we're in. Like, it's not very accepting. Like, it's in both, right? It's not accepting of like who you are and who you identify as a Mexican American, and then plus to add on like not accepting you for being somebody who is probably like gay, right? And I think I feel for them a lot because I feel like they do go through a lot of just identity crisis in both things, where it's like it's really hard. I always feel for them for sure, where I'm just like, I feel like there's places where they're just not accepted at all in anything.
Yeah, they have an extra layer of
challenges that they kind of go through.
No, yeah, for sure. But I guess moving on to more of my second topic. First, before I go, just shout out. Yeah, it's Pride Month. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the LGBTQ community. You guys know. You guys have a safe space here. Yeah. Sending love. Sending a lot of good wishes. Hope you guys know that everything's cool. Go ahead, Brandon. Send us into the next segment. Send us into the next segment.
Just don't book mine.
Oh, nice. And what does it say? It says marriage? What?
Marriage?
Yeah, that's what I So I saw.
It says marriage.
Send it back.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to send this to City.
Go ahead. Wow, personally delivered.
Okay,
thank you.
Me and you will both throw it at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, damn, we're getting really good at it. Anyways, so my second topic is about marriage, but specifically it's about divorce.
Okay.
I'm gonna read you a stat. Black couples have the highest divorce rates in the United States this year at 30.8%, but in second place, guess who's in second place?
Latinos.
Yeah, in second place is Latino couples at 18.5%, and in third place is white couples at 15.1%. But yeah, Latinos have the second highest rate of divorce in the country. Damn. Why do you think that is?
Is this a new study? Like, when was this?
I wouldn't be able to tell you this. This is just, I'm reading you the stat as it came to me. But I can do deeper research for you.
Yes, do that.
Okay. But you were saying?
Perhaps it's because times are changing, and I don't know. I don't think this necessarily has to be.
Oh, it's 2024. Yeah.
I don't think this has to necessarily be primarily like through the Latino lens, but like, I feel like if you see a lot of content online, it's very much like, what happened to when women just were married? Like that guy that kicker who gave the speech at that college, and he was like, they're gonna lie to you and tell you that some of you guys are gonna do this, this, and that, but the greatest thing you'll ever do is be married and have kids. I feel like that mindset's really dying.
Yeah.
That's good because I think women are more than that. So I think maybe that's kind of what's making it kind of rocky, because I think maybe people need a new idea of what marriage looks like.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the people I'm not saying this is everybody who gets married, but I do think if you're getting married, you have a higher chance of thinking that way. Like if you're very like marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's why like people are in marriages, and maybe women are kind of rethinking, and rightfully so, how it looks. Like they're like, well, maybe I want to be more than just this,
Yeah.
So I don't like this setup.
Yeah.
It could be that.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of feel the same way. I think people are also realizing that marriage really isn't everything. And I feel like some people are more like liking the fact that like being alone or discovering more that there's more to do with like your life and stuff. And I feel like I think maybe that's what's going on with it. I also feel for some reason I keep thinking like I think people really just got married at a young age where they're realizing that again like this isn't what they kind of wanted. It's more of like what society was telling them to do, of like, you should be married and have kids. And I feel like some people are kind of discovering that like that's not everything. That's not like some people, that's not their goal really anymore. Especially in this economy.
No, for sure. I agree. I think it goes to show you that Mexican traditions are changing because when you compare it, it goes hand in hand with how Latinas have the highest graduation rate among Latinos. I think it shows you that Latinas are starting to really fight that stereotype that they're basically just supposed to be the wife and the mother. It goes to show you that at least here in the United States, they're really pushing back on it, and it's showing like this new trend of liberation, because you really see what Brandon says, that women are more than just mothers and more than just caretakers. And I think having an option that women didn't have for such a long time, especially living as Latinas here in the United States, it's showing you that when they are given the decision to make to choose a different path, they make the decision for that path, the alternative path. So it could honestly be that, because I think people would obviously first blame like, oh, it's because this new generation and this new era of dating apps and stuff, like that's what it is. But I don't think so. I just don't feel like that's accurate enough for me to think that that's what's happening. I think it's something more embedded in like the liberation of our people and how we've overcome like oppression.
I also think people are just really, I guess, kind of standing up for themselves a little more, where like they're not gonna take bullshit, or like just, if something isn't really for you anymore, people are really kind of being a little more taking action and being a little more outspoken on like they don't want to be in kind of like this life, whether it's like, it just wasn't working out. They don't really stick to it as much. They're kind of just like, you know what, I'm gonna get out of it.
And I think there's also a better understanding about relationships now. You know? I think that, I don't know. I mean, I would assume that a lot of the stuff, like a lot of these new terms, the terms aren't new. Like, I mean, those events aren't new. It's just that people have more awareness about them, and there are more names for them now. Whether it's like, gaslighting, whatever it is,
love bombing,
that can be like an unhealthy relationship. I think people have more resources to know what is an unhealthy relationship and what is a healthy relationship. As much as people want to be like, oh, you're comparing. But I do think, people have resources now, where I think as opposed to maybe a little further back, they didn't have those resources. So they kind of were like, well, I mean, I'm married. Like, everybody's probably like this, right? But now you probably see like, nah, not everybody's actually like, that's not normal. Your husband or wife shouldn't be doing that to you, or whatever it is.
I also feel like people are also seeing it as like, at least this for me, that I felt like people before felt like divorce was never an option.
Exactly.
And I feel like now people are more like, it is an option. Like, it's okay. Like, I don't think, because I feel like divorce has always been seen in the negative light, where it's just like, it's very negative. Like, oh, you're divorced. Like, it's really like bad. But I think now people are being more okay with divorce, and I think that's also completely okay, because it helps everybody else kind of be like, well, if this doesn't work out, like, there is divorce, and that doesn't mean it was bad. It's just like, it just doesn't work out, and things just don't work out, like, I feel like with the past generation, it was always like, you can't, like, you have to keep fighting, keep working on your relationship. And I think there's good in that to an extent. Like, you can work on your relationship to an extent. But I feel like in certain things, it just isn't anymore. Like, there's just only so much that you can do. And divorce is an option. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because I think with the resources, like stuff like social media, our generation is able to see that you don't have to stick with somebody, because I think our culture definitely has that idea of you stick with somebody no matter what. But now with social media, you can see other people's stories, and you're aware of like some of these people who stick together don't exactly have a happily ever after, and it's perfectly fine to split up, especially because as people who are raised by couples that never divorce, even though they don't like each other, sometimes they wish that their parents had just divorced. Maybe their life would have been easier. And I think bringing that awareness and being able to have that resource makes people more encouraged to like want a divorce. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes divorcing is for the betterment of both people.
Yeah. And I think it also ties in kind of like how you mentioned before, where I think it's also very like religious, where in religion, it's like when you get married through like religion and through the church, it's like a forever thing, like a forever thing, where it's just like, you can't leave this person because you got married under, like God or whatever. And I feel like now it's more of just like that's a lot of people aren't being super religious anymore, or like are trying to get away from that space.
And I think dating's changed too. I feel like back in the day, it was more the goal, right? One person, period.
Yeah.
You know, but now people date more, which is good. You know, like you should date more, figure out what you like and who you are compatible with. You know, and I feel like too, even like the spiritual aspect, right? I think the majority of people back in the day were very Catholic, Christian, everything under that umbrella. But now, even if you come from that, I think it evolves a little bit. Where you see stuff like people talking about like, you know, you get 3 loves in your, you know, shit like that, which is fine, you know, if you believe it. But I think it's just a different spiritual approach to relationships, which is generally more accepting to, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I just feel like now that you mention that, I'm like, I just think it's crazy how like people get really influenced by like what they kind of see on the internet or like read about in relationships.
There's pros and cons to it for sure.
Where I'm like, I think some of it, again, like I feel like a lot of information on the internet now is just like, I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, what's real and what's not real. Like,
it's your experience, bro. Whatever you feel like is your gut telling you. Because we're talking about the positive layers of it, right? It's like, oh, it's good because we're more liberated, but there could be negatives. It could be the economy. It could be, I guess, if you want to take the boomer route of like, it's those damn phones. It's because it's making everybody feel like they have options. And just run away and coward. And I mean, that could be a theory too. Yeah. There's no exact way to measure that, even if there is data.
Yeah, just do what you got to do, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to stay with people.
Yeah, love who you got to love. No decision is the wrong decision. And that's what I'll leave my segment off on. Judy, I think you asked us your segment, did you? Yeah. So we'll go ahead and end it off on Brandon. What did you bring for the table this week?
Julie probably knows more about it because obviously she uses more makeup.
She's a girl.
She uses more makeup than me or you do, right? It's a little older now, but it kind of came back because they addressed it. That company Youthforia, they make what do you call it?
Foundation.
Yeah, they had a bunch of foundation so I guess how it works, right, is like they have tones, right? Yeah. So that kind of match the undertone of people's skins, and you mix them so that it matches your skin. They had a lot of light colors, you know, specifically for white people. Yeah. And there was, I guess, a bit of an outcry, you know, to include darker shades. And one of the shades they included was really dark, you know, and they were marketing for people with dark skin. But the controversial part was that there was no undertone to the shade. It was basically black paint, like jet black paint. And it's insane because the company didn't really They kept trying to double down on the fact that no, like people are this color, but people who were very dark kept being like, nobody who's jet black exists. It's always brown and an undertone of brown or a very dark brown, but nobody's jet black. Yeah, and that's really offensive, right? Because I think people also brought up the ingredient lists, and one of the key ingredients was black iron oxide, which is something they use in jet black paint to make it black paint, which is, I don't know, I guess it says a lot about the racism of that, which is very much like, well, if it's for black people, just give them black paint, which is insane.
Yeah, it's been a very big issue in just like I guess kind of like the beauty industry or the makeup industry, whatever you want to call it. I think it's called beauty industry, but I think it's always been an issue of like inclusivity, of like just having, because I mean, of course, before a lot of brands mostly would have like at least like 12 shades, and for the most part it's always just like the lighter tones, and there's never really been a lot of brands before. At least now there's a little more, but it's still very complicated where there hasn't been like the darker tones until now, because like, you know, people have been having more uproars about it. But I have seen about that, and I saw, what was interesting is I saw this girl, she does like ballet, and she got like this pink like shoe, and she always puts like Sharpie on it because she makes it like, she wants a black shoe, but she couldn't find it, so she bought one, and she does like Sharpie, and then the undertone of that Sharpie like turns purple. And then she was like, oh, like, I'm going to use the Euphoria, like, the foundation. And she uses it, and it's just black. Like, there's no undertone to it. Like, it's completely black. I know that they've also said that when they add, like, different things to add the undertone, it turns, like, gray or something.
Yeah, well, because the company came back and the people who were defending it were saying, like, well, it's a mixer.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to mix it with other shades to get the shade that's your undertone. Mm-hmm. But because it's jet black, it just turns everything gray. Because, you know, it's not, you know, so.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I just mean, like, I've always heard stories, and it's not exclusive to the makeup industry, but most industries they don't really cater to people of color. So they're already kind of struggling to find any representation when it comes to media. Yeah. But you can't even find representation when it comes to your own products that are made for you.
Yeah, and I think it especially sucks because it's like companies don't want to, I guess, in a way, hire those people to, like, actually help them. And it's just like, if you don't have people in the room that you're making, like, the makeup for, then, like, it's kind of just like, where are you getting, like, all these ideas or help from? Like, are you really true to what you say of your brand being, like, inclusive and diverse? Because it's like, then where are those people, like, in the room to help you kind of, like, do those things? And I feel like, personally, for me, I've always struggled with finding, I guess, my shade. Because it's just more of, like, I have different, like, undertones, which means, like, sometimes you're a little more red, you know, in some areas. Or sometimes your undertones are, like, you're a little more, like, yellow. Like, there's different undertones that people have. And I think, for sure, I get that it's very complex to do makeup and stuff. But it's just like, if that's part of your brand of what you want to be and be inclusive, you can't seclude a lot of people in that.
I just think it's an insanely offensive thing to do. Like, it's almost out of a movie. For that,
and you said that they didn't apologize.
No,
right?
recently they didn't apologize. Like, they didn't say sorry. They said, I think we're just gonna add someone to our team to ensure this doesn't happen. But they didn't say sorry.
Yeah.
But I think it's just insanely offensive that, you know, there was like, hey, can you include darker shades? And they were just like, oh, here's jet black.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
That's
like,
crazy.
Like, who's jet black? Like, I don't know that. And then I think a lot of people responding to the, I think, more than justified outrage are being also really racist, being like, no, there's really dark people. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's really insulting to have people who are of color kind of say, like, hey, man, nobody's jet black. We're not jet black. And then everybody's like, well, yeah, you are. Like, like the company's basically being like, yeah, you are. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And then the people who are kind of responding to them are also being like, yeah, you are.
Like, they exist.
Like, what's...
Yeah, like, what are y'all talking about?
I don't really understand why you would do that. I don't know.
It's so weird because I think if you're a person of color, like, a lot of these brands don't want you. They want your money. Yeah. That's like, well, because they'll make stuff for you. They'll cater to you and they'll market it to you. But they just want your money. They don't care about you. They don't want to do research on you. Yeah. They don't want to hear your feedback. They want you to shut the fuck up and just buy whatever they give you.
Because that's generally what they did. They were like, oh, you guys, they were having, like, uproar about where's their darkest shade. And they were like, oh, you guys want a dark shade? And they gave them, like.
Yeah. No, that's what I find disrespectful. It feels like I'm just like a number to you. I'm a concept to you. Like, if I was a woman, I'd be like, I'm just like a concept to you. Like, you know my existence, and you know of my power in the culture. Yeah. You know that I have a voice, and you know that I sway the market or whatever you want big enough for you to market towards me. But you don't care about me. Yeah. Like, you don't want to do the extra step of actually learning about my undertones, learning about, like, what our culture is, so that way, like, you make something that actually benefits us. What you just want is your little, like, I guess your little, like, inclusive points. Well, you want to be like, oh, we're an inclusive brand.
We are,
yeah. And I just think, I don't know. I don't get what the thought process of that is. Like, I don't know. Just give them black face paint. Like, you know, like.
I generally am like, what did they talk about in that room that they were like? Because I've seen, no one did this.
I've seen an influencer compare. She was very dark skinned. Yeah. Like, very dark skinned, and she was saying, well, I'm the person who would need, like, a very dark shade, right? And she compares, like, literal Halloween black face paint and the Euphoria one, right? And they're almost indistinguishable from each other. Yeah. Which, I don't know.
I saw a girl who also used actual, like paint, like black paint. and then she used the foundation and they look exactly the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that's very dehumanizing too. I think.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't know what I'm baffled and curious as to what they even thought was going to be the results of that.
Yeah.
But that's
Like,
that's the big thing within like the beauty industry is that they don't really cater to those who are like dark skinned. And I think that's like the biggest issue in like just it, because it's not just them. There's a lot of brands who do the same thing where it's just like they don't really have that inclusivity. I know like one that they always talk about is like Rihanna. She has like a whole bunch of shades, and there was kind of like this I don't know how huge it got, but there was an uproar because her lightest shade isn't really that light. Like hers is the opposite, where it's like she doesn't have the whitest shade. It's like slightly like a yellowish.
That's
undertone.
ironic.
Like that's the lightest shade that she has. But because she's catering more to POC, like black POC, you know, like she caters to that audience because you know that's her brand.
Yeah.
And like people are having, but now like white people are having this uproar that she doesn't have the lightest shade.
The hot takes are coming out.
I think also what people brought out was that they had it like in, I think I saw the like ad or whatever, or where they had the light shades, and there's like 15, like it's like a range. But then when they unveiled their like dark shade, it's like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And it's very extreme. So it goes from like kind of light brown to jet black.
Yeah.
Which again, very insulting and very I don't know.
I think a brand like that is just like you shouldn't support.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
At all.
Yeah.
Like you just shouldn't support them at all. Even if they start bringing out other shades, I feel like you shouldn't support them anymore.
Yeah. Stick by your people. Maybe support.
Especially because they didn't apologize. Not that would have made it better, but they were.
But
just
it's just
like
it just ties back to kind of like when you call people out and they kind of just start doing it. It's just more just like for face of like to say like, oh no, like we're very regretful about what we did, but they don't actually care.
Yeah.
It's because it's what they say. What do they say? The apology has to be as loud as the disrespect was.
Oh yeah.
So what are they gonna do now? Like. Make actual
and
makeup?
Come
on, they wouldn't.
And then they didn't even apologize. They were just like, and
then now they're gonna hire.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna hire.
And that's
somebody.
just one company, bro. I can't imagine what these other companies are doing.
I think this one was just, I don't know.
At least I give a fuck.
Was the most egregious, or it's like jet black face paint.
They just literally didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They just literally didn't give a fuck. They were like,
it's not like,
come on,
like easy. Here you go.
Yeah.
Literally, that's crazy. Bro, 2024.
I low-key though didn't know that brand though until the whole makeup thing started happening.
Oh, maybe they were like, you see, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they kind of.
I hope people don't support them anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like you shouldn't support that type of brand anymore. And if you are the type of person to be like you like inclusivity and all that, you shouldn't buy it from them at all. Support actual people that actually do those things. Actual black and brown people.
Do you know any brands that do that?
Fenty by Rihanna.
Well, it's hard because I know Rihanna is under like fire because she hasn't spoken about Palestine, so she's on like the block list. Supposedly, I don't know. Since the last thing that I heard, she
disappointing.
But I don't know. I don't know fully, so don't quote me on that. Yeah. I would say the only other brand that I have heard is like Huda Beauty. She supports Palestine, so I heard you should support her. But don't buy from Sephora. Buy directly from Huda Beauty's website.
Oh, does Sephora support?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So it's crazy. Like, what do they have? Well, how are they involved? Like, I don't get why they give money to fucking Israel.
I don't know how that happened, but people just say don't do that because it's just like in other brands. Because like
Shake Shack.
No, I know. It's more rhetorical. It's more rhetorical. Like what? Like,
I get you. Yeah.
Like why? Like,
why do you do that?
Like, why?
What are you benefiting?
Yeah. Like, what are you genuinely benefiting?
Yeah. But I don't know if it's like they have corporations there. I don't know what that is.
It's probably the deep state, like as they say. No, I'm not gonna say. Ignore that I said that. That's probably a trigger word.
But
probably got blocked.
But support black and brown companies. Honestly,
it could be.
They're a little more inclusive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's what I'll end this episode
lift
on.
Them up.
That's what support POC, LGBTQ plus pro Palestine people who
or what is it? BIPOC?
Businesses and
BIPOC?
People and podcasts.
Black. What is it?
Black indigenous
people of color. Yeah.
There you go. BIPOC rules. Let's
know
go.
that.
Happy Pride Month.
Before we go, I got to do a shout out to all our patrons. Shout out to Yoel. Shout out to Jada Chicano. Shout out to Angel Zamaron. Shout out to Sarah Without an Age. Shout out to Stephen Carbajal. Shout out to Carla Corazon. Your patronage is always appreciated. If anybody wants to join the Patreon, our link's always in the bio. If you're going to join, my one note is come up with some really interesting and fun names, man. I mean, I want to have some fun when I say these. No disrespect, but you know what I mean? You guys can always
I like Sarah Without an H.
Yeah, that one's cool. She ate with that.
Yeah. Jada Chicano's kind of cool too.
But come on, let's get a little creativity, guys. Come on.
Yoel, come on. Maybe do like Yoel.
Let's do some puns, some double entendres,
Yoel's Pharrell.
Where's the creativity? But thank you guys for watching.
We love you though.
I'm gonna throw the plane at the camera.
All right, that's to say goodbye. See you. Bye. Well, you're just faded out right there.
I guess so.